The features are really for all of our volunteers and giving them some guidance of all of the aspects of a return to sport that they need to do. So we've clearly got the preparation of our venues, the preparation of how we're going to go about bringing in our participants, bringing in our volunteers. We've got the actual playing of the sport and how we're going to be able to execute that. We've also got in the Return to Sport Toolkit, what happens if we do get cases, and then of course finally as to how we respond and we reboot back to a normal stage, because once we get back to playing, it's going to be a modified season or a modified sport, with coronavirus firmly in our minds, and we will come out of that. So we really cover the 4 phases of returning to sport, but all of it focused on being able to take the load away from our volunteers. Having a safety officer is critical. It's a big role, but it is really critical that we have that, and we have the review mechanisms in place as to what works and what doesn't work. We've all operated within clubs, finding that person that might have a bit of a background, doesn't necessarily need to be a medical background, but the type of person to make sure they're very diligent, that they've got a really great respect amongst people, because there's going to be some difficult decisions have to be made. Everybody wants to get back and play. Everybody wants to, push the envelope a little bit. So the safety officer is a really critical role, and I think that those safety officers, I would hope that those safety officers, start to collaborate amongst themselves and actually pick up some best practice in how to operate. We thought we'd be able to pull together a particular document and a portal that would cover not only the when but also the how. We developed the toolkit really as a central repository for everybody to go to. I'm really proud of what we've been able to do, particularly with the AIS framework, which is highlighted on our webpage. So I encourage everyone to go to that, and of course the Return to Sport Toolkit, which is also on our webpage, and gives all of the information that we need and access to one source of truth. So we're hoping that the national sporting organisations will use this toolkit, and we know many of them have, to produce their own, because there's nuances within each sport. So the toolkit really gives us a central repository to all sporting organisations, whether they be the states, and we need to be clear that the states and the jurisdictions have the right of when those things happen, and we're not certainly talking about that. But each state will have a different outcome. I talk to a lot of people, and every single question is when can we get back to playing? So I think sport is just that great Australian activity that people just want to be engaged with, and it's a part of our life. And we only get one chance to actually return. So it does require us to be cautious and conservative. And people will argue, well, why is the NRL and the AFL playing? Well, they're able to go into clean stadiums where they've got the resources to be able to clean it down. But if you think about our volunteers, who are trying to make sure that people come into the venues and leave the venues without getting too close, scrubbing down surfaces and all those sorts of things. It is a really big thing. We'll learn a lot from it, and hopefully our volunteers have got enough support to be able to pull it off. So it is really important for our community, for our minds, for our mental health, and for the Australian way. We have to be patient. It's going to be different, and we're all going to get frustrated. We're going to get frustrated by the time that it takes, to get back to normal. So I think everyone needs to really just be patient. I think we also need to be respectful that if we don't do the right things, then lives are in danger, and we can't underestimate the seriousness of it. I think we've just got to get back to having fun. One of my biggest concerns is that we won't get people back to playing sport. I think it's really important that we get back and reactivate and be a part of the sporting community. It's really critical to support our volunteers who give up all their time. It's been a tough year, and we know sport is fun, and I really encourage everybody to encourage everyone else to get back to playing.